All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Michael Reichley Lancaster. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the president of the Ontario Museum Association. On behalf of the board, staff, and members of the Ontario Museum Association, I would like to welcome you all to this 2025 Awards of Excellence presentation. As an organization of provincial scope, the Ontario Museum Association recognizes that its members and community live and work on lands and territories of Indigenous people. Toronto, where the OMA offices are, is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat. We wish to express our great gratitude for the resources we are using and pay respect to the rich and ongoing Indigenous history of what is now Ontario and Canada. As we acknowledge the colonial legacy of museums, we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. This morning, we will recognize individuals who have made and are making outstanding contributions to the Ontario Museum community. Their innovative work inspires their colleagues, their local communities and partners, and visitors from across Canada and the world. The nominees and recipients of this year's Awards of Excellence exemplify how museum workers are integral to connecting museums to the communities they serve. Thank you for joining us to recognize them and celebrate their contributions. Unfortunately, Sharifa Foreman, our awards committee chair and member of the OMA Board of Directors, was unable to be with us today. But I have the pleasure of introducing Joe Corrigan, OMA Treasurer and former chair of the OMA Awards of Excellence, who will be leading the ceremony today. I would now like to introduce Joe Corrigan. Over to you, Joe.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the OMA's 2025 Awards of Excellence celebration. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the recipients of the 2025 OMA Awards of Excellence. To begin, I would like to recognize our 2025 Awards of Excellence committee members, Irene Chalmers, Holly Hill, Shauna Jarman, Sarah McKenzie, and Sharifa Foreman, who has served as chair of the adjudication committee. Thank you to the committee for contributing your time to review and adjudicate the 11 nominations that were received for individual achievements award categories. And also thanks to each person and organization who submitted a nomination or a letter of critical review. It has been a privilege for the members on this year's Awards of Excellence Committee to review the nominations and to see the creativity and dedication of individuals working in museums across the province. Awards of Excellence Committee member Holly Hill and OMA board member Deanna Way are joining us today in presenting the Awards of Excellence. Deanna?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Deanna Way, and first we would like to recognize the 2025 graduates of the Ontario Museum Association Certificate in Museum Studies program. These graduates now join the ranks of more than 400 graduates of the program since 1982. Certificate in Museum Studies is a museum sector training program offered by the OMA on a part-time basis for museum workers, both paid and volunteer. The certificate program offers a foundation in all aspects of professional museum work, from managing and caring for collections, to public programming and exhibition design, to maintaining a historic building. A certificate is awarded to participants who have successfully completed all 9 courses. These individuals have dedicated themselves to completing their course assignments, as well as managing their professional and personal responsibilities over the past few years. We admire their commitment to advancing their professional qualifications and skills and the contributions they have made and will continue to make to the museum sector. Now, before I go further, I do want to apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. However, it is my great pleasure to congratulate our 2025 Certificate in Museum Studies graduates. Ashley Andrews, Jason Gregoris Salas, Saika Groves, Luann Henderson, Danielle Huvenars, Anthony Howell, Catherine Hunks, Victoria Cargill, Katie Kennedy, Yujia Liu, Matthew Lloyd, Amber Meyer, Meredith Patterson, Diane Pierce, Jared Shute, Miyu Se Yuto, Cameron Willis. Congratulations again to all of our 2025 CMS graduates. Now, next, we would like to announce the recipients of the Ontario Museum Association's Museum Studies Program Awards. The OMA maintains relationships with many of the Heritage and Museum Studies post-secondary programs in Ontario, and we are pleased to sponsor named OMA awards at Fleming College's Heritage Programs, Algonquin College's Applied Museum Studies Program, and the University of Toronto's Museum Studies Program. Each year, the Ontario Museum Association presents these awards to graduating students. And as someone who received the OMA award for the Applied Museum Studies program upon my own graduation from Algonquin College, it is a particular honor to introduce this year's recipients. The OMA award for heritage programs at Fleming College is presented to a student who has maintained high academic standards, demonstrated excellence in their work, and a strong commitment to the arts, culture, and heritage community, proven their ability to work independently and in team settings, has a passion for lifelong learning, and whose enthusiasm for the sector inspires others. And this year's recipient is Louise Wolfe. The OMA Award for Applied Museum Studies program at Algonquin College goes to a student who has maintained an above average academic level throughout the program, demonstrated a commitment to the museum field through academic work and extracurricular activities, shown independent learning skills, and demonstrated the capacity to work well as a group member in team situations. This year's recipient is Evan Bach. The OMA Award for the Master of Museum Studies program at the University of Toronto is presented to a student who has maintained a strong academic record and demonstrated excellence in one or more areas of emerging museum and heritage practice through research, internship experiences, exhibition and programming work, coursework, and/or extracurricular activities. And this year, there are two recipients, Van Gonzalez and Liz Sullivan. Congratulations and best wishes to Louise Wolfe, Evan Bach, Van Gonzalez, and Liz Sullivan. Next, we will be presenting the OMA Awards of Excellence. This year's Awards of Excellence recognize notable individuals in the Ontario Museum community, and I have the pleasure of introducing Hallie Hill, Cultural Interpreter from Woodland Cultural Center, to introduce our first award.
Hi, I'm Hallie Hill, just to introduce myself. So the first of these awards of the OMA Volunteer Service Award of Excellence, which is presented to those who have made a significant contribution to the museum community through volunteer work. Volunteers are essential to the museum sector, making critical contributions to projects, programs, and other cultural heritage experiences within their communities. This year's recipient of the OMA Volunteer Service Award of Excellence is Mary Storey, who volunteered for over 21 years at the Muskoka Steamships and Discovery Centre in Gravenhurst, Ontario. In the words of her nominator, Wendy Fairbarn, Mary Storey has provided over 2 decades of exemplary leadership, service, and dedication to preserving and promoting cultural heritage at the Muskoka Steamships and Discovery Centre. Her passion for local history, paired with her organizational skills and editorial vision, has made her a cornerstone of the center's identity and success. Since 2001, when she moved to Muskoka full-time, Mary joined the planning committee for the development of the Discovery Centre, which opened in 2006. Over 21 plus years of service, Mary has chaired multiple committees and served as a director on the board for 14 years until retiring in 2018. In recognition of her outstanding leadership, the board appointed her as only the third honorary director for life in 2019. Mary's most enduring legacy may be her archival work when she built and maintained a comprehensive collection over 6,000 archival items and a database of up to 8,000 historic wooden boats. Though she recently retired, Mary remains a familiar face at the Discovery Center. Her enduring presence and willingness to support the team exemplify a lifetime of selfless service. It is our pleasure to present Mary with the 2025 Volunteer Service Award of Excellence. Thank you and congratulations, Mary. So the next award is the OMA Promising Leadership Award of Excellence. This award recognizes an emerging museum professional who has demonstrated leadership within the museum community. This year's recipient is Peter Flannery, Senior Curator and Collections Manager at the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery. So in the words of his nominators, Cheyenne Maplebeck and Catherine Marshall, since joining the gallery in 2019, Peter has consistently demonstrated a visionary approach to a curatorial practice, community engagement, and institutional growth. He has made it his mission to amplify diverse and underrepresented voices through exhibitions, programs, and partnerships that reflect his deep commitment to equity, inclusion, and mentorship. Peter's curatorial work reflects a bold and thoughtful leadership style that prioritizes emerging talent and marginalized communities. His colleagues and collaborators often remark on his thoughtful guidance, strategic vision, and the ability to create welcoming spaces where artists and professionals feel seen, heard, and supported. He consistently brings fresh perspectives to the gallery's programming and operations, balancing institutional goals with the needs of the community and the artists he serves. Through his forward-thinking curatorial practice, he has moved from a graduate student to an educator and mentor, invested in the future leadership. Peter Flannery is a vital presence at the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery, and as a rising leader within Ontario's museum sector. His achievements to date speak not only to his capabilities, but to his promise of all he has yet to accomplish. It is our pleasure to present Peter Flannery with the Promising Leadership Award of Excellence and invite him now to say a few words.
Am I good to go? Great. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Ontario Museum Association and the jury for awarding me the Ontario Museum Association Promising Leadership Award of Excellence. It's such an honor to be recognized among all of the incredibly hardworking individuals across our sector. I've been grateful to receive mentorship and support from leaders in the field, particularly during the last 6 years at the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery. Starting out as an intern and moving through several positions to now be the senior curator and collections manager, I've learned so much from colleagues and friends at all levels of the organization and the wider community. I've had the opportunity to try new things and push the gallery in new directions, like our first exhibition on glass beadwork as we build connections with diverse communities. I also lead the development of an artist in residence program for emerging BIPOC ceramic and glass artists and a community mosaic mural project. Another highlight was our Ceramics and Glass Sustainability and the Environment Symposium, which drew speakers from across Canada, the United States, and Scotland to the gallery. I'm so proud of the community impact and support for artists that has been possible through these projects. With the support of my mentors, friends, and colleagues at the gallery, all of these things were possible. Thank you to my colleagues who nominated me for this award and to the community of mentors that have guided me, and congratulations to the other OMA award winners.
Thank you, Peter, and congratulations again. Next, I would like to welcome Michael Reichley Lancaster again to present some more awards for us for the 2025 award ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you. This year we had so many wonderful nominations that the Adjudication Committee has also awarded an honorable mention for promising leadership to Courtney Corbeil, Curator of Programming Education and Partnerships at the Lincoln Museum and Cultural Center. In the words of her nominator, Dr. Adam Montgomery, Courtney has been instrumental in establishing partnerships with Indigenous partners to create a public park in the town of Lincoln. Sharashan Park, apologies, that will honor the history of the neutral nation and feature historic signage, a native species rain garden, a longhouse, and art installations by Indigenous artists. Courtney's leadership has brought together many different groups, including representatives from the town of Lincoln, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and Haudenosaunee, and other Indigenous leaders in Niagara. Many sites and institutions talk about their support for truth and reconciliation, but Courtney's work is ensuring that the museum and town of Lincoln are putting actions behind words to honor the region's Indigenous past and present. Courtney has been key to the park project coming to fruition. Courtney has also been a key part of a rise in interest in museum programming by trying programs to our current and upcoming exhibitions, For an exhibit on bees and pollination, she worked with a local beekeeper and meadery to have tastings and public talks. She implemented a living space for carpenter bees on the property, which is now permanent. I have no doubt that she will be a strong leader in the museum field for a long time to come, and am both humbled and amazed at her passion and dedication. Congratulations, Courtney. Over to you, Joe.
Thank you, Michael. The final award of this morning recognizes an individual for their impact on all of us as a community of museum professionals. And in this case, in a personal way for myself. The OMA's Distinguished Career Award of Excellence is presented to those who, over an extended period of time, have created a lasting and meaningful legacy in the Ontario Museum community. This year, the award goes to Dr. Amy Barron, who is currently the Program Coordinator for Heritage Programs, Museum Studies and Conservation at Sir Sandford Fleming College. In the words of her nominator, Kathleen Vahey of the Aurora Historic Society and Hillary House National Historic Site, Amy began her career in heritage institutions, taking on a variety of roles and contributing to numerous organizations. While working on her PhD, Amy took a bigger step in her museum career and joined the team at Enoch Turner Schoolhouse as a historical interpreter. Starting in the 2000s, Amy worked with the Ontario Archaeology Society as a program development officer, and over the next decade held consultant and programming positions with museums like the Markham Museum, Peterborough Museum and Archives, and the Whitechurch Stouffville Museum. From 2010 to 2017, Amy was the curator and then the community programmer for the Scugog Shores Museum. She was responsible for all operations of the museum, and at the Clarington Museum and Archives, she oversaw the development of a new museum programming direction that was community-focused and engaging. Over her 30-year career, Amy has collaborated, consulted, and assisted almost every museum in Kawartha, Durham, and York regions in some capacity, which speaks to her positive impact and legacy on the Ontario Museum community. In addition to her role as community and public programmer, Amy has held several formal teaching positions at the University of Guelph, Humber, the University of Toronto, and in the Ontario Museum Association's Certificate in Museum Studies program. In 2014, Amy became a faculty member at Fleming College in the Museum Management Curatorship Graduate Certificate program. In 2020, she took on the role of program coordinator for both of Fleming College's heritage programs in museum studies and conservation. Over the past 2 decades, Amy has provided professional instruction, guidance, and mentorship to hundreds of students and emerging professionals. For 30 years, she has provided audiences with engaging museum experiences and mentored hundreds of emerging museum professionals as an instructor and colleague. It is my pleasure to present Dr. Amy Barron with the Distinguished Career Award of Excellence and invite her to say a few words.
First off, I would like to thank the OMA, the nomination committee, and all of the lovely people who were involved in nominating me. It is such a great honor, and I really cannot begin to express my gratitude and appreciation. I don't think anyone can really predict how their life will develop, and certainly anyone who knew me as a high school student would be surprised by this. I started university focused on science and maths, with no thought of a future in history or museums. It was an elective class in art history with a fabulous professor and a volunteer position at the Guelph Civic Museums that altered my life path. We never knew who we were going to influence in either teaching or museums. Throughout the early year of my museum career, I was simultaneously struggling through a million years of grad school, getting my archaeology degree. During this period, I like to think of myself as an itinerant museum worker, imagining myself as a medieval tradesman going village to village, offering up my services. This provided me with a strong network and a world of experiences. It is also not unlike navigating the tricky world of contract museum work that new emerging museum professionals usually now undergo. My passion has always been education and public programming, and sharing our love of history with others. Museums are only as strong as the community that they embrace and then embraces them in return. I have always loved forging partnerships and creating engaging and quite often unexpected types of museum programming. I also had the joy of teaching the OMA's Museums in the Community course for 10 years. The last decade has given me the opportunity to gradually transition from museum work, putting all my eggs in one basket here at Fleming College as the current program coordinator of the heritage programs. Teaching here at Fleming has always felt like a wonderful full circle moment for me to be able to mentor wonderful EMPs as I was once mentored over 30 years ago. Working with upcoming museum professionals has been the highlight of my museum career for many years, both in museums and now here at Fleming. I look forward to many more years of assisting members of the museum community, both old and new. My predecessor in this role was well known for the old adage, measure twice, cut once. While that works for conservator, looking back over my career, I would say my approach is a bit more chaotic. I'd like to say measure a million times in a million ways, and then cut the way your guts tell you to. Make mistakes, fail, learn, laugh at your mistakes, try again. The world is pretty crazy these days, and we have to be kind to ourselves. We won't always get it right, but to reach people means always just continuing to try. Thank you, miigwech, and merci.
Thank you, Amy, and congratulations on this prestigious award and recognition of your career achievements. Finally, we are also pleased to recognize esteemed colleagues who have recently retired from the Ontario Museum sector. Kim Reed, Museum Curator of the Peterborough Museum and Archives, retired on June 27th, 2025, after 40 years with the museum. First as the museum's technician from 1985 to 95, and then as curator from 1995 to 2025. Throughout her career at the museum, she has designed, curated, and installed 210 temporary exhibits. And I think I was involved in a couple of those back in it when I was a student at Fleming in 2002, 2003. Her many contributions to the museum are summed up by Susan Neal, the current museum director, in the following way. I have seen firsthand Kim's deep commitment to preserving and sharing the stories that shape our community, Kim's thoughtful approach to curation, and her unwavering integrity have made a lasting impact. Best wishes to Kim and her new adventure. Now I'll turn it over to Michael for his closing remarks.
Thank you, Joe, and congratulations to all. What an amazing range of museum work we have celebrated today. I would like to congratulate our award recipients and all those who were nominated this year. You have inspired us with your work, and you have created enriching experiences for millions of visitors. I would also like to thank the awards committee for their dedication to the process, and all of those who prepared a nomination or a letter of critical review. Without nominations, we would not be able to honor the outstanding museum work done across Ontario and highlight the people responsible for making it happen. Next year, the OMA will be presenting an updated Award of Excellence program with a return to a broader range of award categories. I encourage you, each of you, to consider what project or individual you might nominate next year, and to recognize and celebrate the successes of your colleagues all year round. Please share your successes and let us continue to celebrate the great work of Ontario's museums. Thank you so much, everyone.